All right, and welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm joined once again, with my co-host, Jim Bushy. I'm Brooke Edel. So glad to be back. I know that we've had a nice little hiatus. I hope everyone's okay. We just had the election. We had 40 monkeys just get loose in South Carolina. A lot of things have been going on, but I'm glad. How are you doing, Jim?
Look, I am sore. I am so sore from last week. As you know, I had a little fender bender or some.
Right, little fender bender
Yeah.
to start your
Well,
weekend. Yep.
well, just some person running a red. Always fun. But hey, I was able to sleep in, get that extra hour's sleep,
Right.
and yeah, football, man. I was able to watch football all day, all night, relax. I'm so pumped.
Little R&R. Okay, so you got recharged, rejuvenated, and you got to watch football. And the Vikings won on Sunday night. So you got to watch a full day of football, and you got to end it with a Vikings win. Yeah, that was kind of shaky to start the first half of last week, but the Vikings did pull through. And you got to give credit to Sam Darnold, and the defense kept them in the game. I mean, they could have, rolled over in that first half, especially after everything that was just not going their way.
Oh, 1,000%. Sam Darnold did not look good. That just shows that even though we're playing a subpar team this year, that if we play like this, there's no way we could take on the Detroits, we could take on the Kansas Cities, we could take on the Ravens. No chance we could take on any of those good teams. So that needs to be a wake up.
Yeah, you can't beat those top teams that are figuring their identity out, especially like a Detroit. Green Bay's beatable, and you're looking inside the division. It's just like, hey, we gotta. The Vikings got to keep up, because what Detroit's doing right now, they are on a tear right now in regards to just being one of the scariest teams in the NFL, arguably probably one of the best teams, maybe behind Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City's still undefeated, so it's really tough to say that Detroit is the number one team in the NFL. I know they lost to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay almost did beat Kansas City. They should have went for two. A lot of people were saying that they should have went for two, but again, Kansas City and Detroit, top two teams, and then the rest of the NFC is not going to be any type of joke. I mean, look at the Washington Commanders with Jane Daniels at 7-2, and it's just not going to get any easier. I know that the Vikings get a little bit of a soft part of their schedule here, but still. You're going up against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has been playing tough. I mean, they were it was a one-possession game against Green Bay. They've just been just a little bit off in regards to Trevor Lawrence has been playing a little bit better, but again, he just has been careless with the ball. But bringing it back to what we're seeing in the NFL right now, Detroit, very impressive with Jared Goff putting up MVP numbers. But Lamar Jackson is saying, "Hey, don't forget about me," with his MVP performance on Thursday Night Football. What a game that was!
Holy moly, man! Just watching that game, Jamar Chase. I'm so glad I'm not playing against him at all this week. He has been so helpful. With that performance alone can win you a week. Oh my goodness!
For sure, like he went crazy. Like he had about 11 catches, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Just insane stats. Like those are like Madden numbers where you're just like you're going to one receiver that's just hot all game. They can't stop him, and every time he's out in the open field, he's just running past defenders, and he just has that ability to be so electric as a wide receiver. And you don't see this type of play. It's very rare to see somebody like a Jamar Chase just blow up like this, and he just has the ability to just take over a game, and that's what he did. That's what he did on Thursday night. He took over that game, and and I know there's debates out there, and I've had debates with friends in regards to who's like the best wide receiver. Like Jamar Chase is definitely up there. He's definitely top 5, but I know that there's Amon St. Brown, and there's also Justin Jefferson that I feel like all together, put together in regards to their game, I think just a notch above. But that's not a dig on him. He's just, I feel like he's a different type of wide receiver where he is that home run hitter.
Oh god, yeah, he's one of those like you have to double. He's one of those guys like who do you double him or T Higgins, or do you let them both try to beat you? Try to put your best person on there. He is one of those receivers where you always have to know where he is on the field anytime he goes, and he could get gone to 0 times a game and still be a factor. He can be thrown every single play. So he is just one of those key players to any team. Cincinnati is glad they have him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver. They got Jamar Chase. They got T. Higgins. I know T. Higgins is injured right now, but once he does come back, I think that's arguably one of the top 2 duos, 1-2 duos in regards to receivers in the NFL. And it doesn't hurt that you have Joe Burrow back there, your former college teammate, throwing the rock. But yeah, that was a lot of pitch and catch against the worst. I mean, Ravens. I don't think this has ever happened. But like Ravens 32nd overall in pass defense, but they're the number 1 rush defense. I don't think that's ever happened in regards. It must be just every team is like, hey, we can't run the ball against them. Let's just throw the ball.
Yeah, this is what you have to after watching that game.
Yep, absolutely. And the Ravens got to give them some credit to stay in this game because early it looked like it was going to be a blowout because the Ravens could not get off the field. They were giving up a lot of points. It was 21-7, and the game ends 35-34 Baltimore. Like, nuts. But again, we talked about that. Lamar Jackson, just insane ability to always keep your team in the game. That's what makes him the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. In regards to, like, you just always have a chance with Lamar Jackson. And like Tom Brady said early in the season, he's an eraser. He erases bad football. And that's what he's been able to do for the Baltimore Ravens and their defense. And Baltimore is very lucky. I mean, they had a lot of opportunities to play a lot better in this game, but for them to get out of this game with a 1-point win, they're very fortunate. I mean, like, even special teams. Somebody as sure-footed as Justin Tucker. We'll talk about the Vikings kicker because we do have some injuries to talk about. But, like, Justin Tucker is having probably one of his worst seasons as a Baltimore Raven in his Hall of Fame career. But still, Lamar Jackson's there to make sure that the Ravens are still able to push through regardless, how everybody else is showing up that night. But, yeah, Zay Flowers is definitely take a huge step. But, yeah, huge shout-out to Jamar Chase and the Bengals for putting up an entertaining game. They just know. Yeah. Like, I don't know. The Bengals and the Ravens, this is 2 classic games that they put together. So I'm possibly this might be a playoff preview maybe in the wild card.
Oh God, yeah. This has been like one of the most circled games. Like this was if this was not, I don't know if this should have been a Thursday night. This should have been like a Sunday night game or a Monday night game. There's how like the rivalry between these 2 teams. But you know what they say about erasers? They do come to an end, and you'll have to replace it sooner. So if they want to keep Lamar on his great track, their defense needs to step up.
Absolutely, no question about it. Yeah, the defense needs to step up. They had a huge injury with Kyle Hamilton going out. I think early in the game. I think it was like late in the second quarter. He gets stepped on, and then he's out for the rest of the game. That made a huge impact because they were not able to cover anything across the middle. It felt like Joe Burrow was able to slice and dice. But yeah, so many great games coming up this NFL weekend. A lot of great games too with college football. We can definitely dive into it, but let's talk Vikings first, because Vikings are going to Jacksonville. They're 6-2. They have Cam Robinson, who got a game ball coming from Jacksonville. Like, that's just amazing. Like, you just get off the plane, you join a brand new team, you don't know the full playbook, and you're able to step into a primetime game. Granted, you're playing the Colts, but like still, you're playing an NFL team in a huge spot, and he was able to, yeah, he wasn't perfect, but he was able to make the right amount of plays for the offensive line to be solidified, and that's huge because like I've seen past Vikings teams where they try to just pick up like a free agent and then try to plug and play their offensive line, but it doesn't work because you're going to have a lot of dysfunctional play. You're going to get a lot of holding. You're going to get a lot of false starts. We didn't see that out of Cam Robinson. So going into his revenge game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, it'll be fun to see how they kind of utilize the new pickup because he's been able to really impress me so far. What are your thoughts in regards to the Vikings going into Jacksonville, finally breaking up that losing streak, going in 6-2?
Ooh, ball. Yeah, no. Breaking up that losing streak was a massive, massive idea because going 3-0 to Jacksonville is something that's really you can't do. Just trying to get the momentum going and picking up that was a good pickup. They needed someone for the position. He knew what he was doing to enough where even though it was a new team and a new playbook he has to learn, he was able to step in and be that guy because he's playing for a starting role. If not,
he's in a contract
for the rest of the year. Right. Yeah, he's playing for that next contract. He's playing for a starter. He didn't want to be a backup again.
Oh,
so so that was a great showing off for him. Hopefully, he could continue to do that, and hopefully, the Vikings could continue to win. I hate to say that this is a must-win game, but after the way they played against the Colts, you have to win this game. You lose this game, you are questionable with everything. I understand the National Football League. Excuse me. Anyone can beat anyone. Look at last week. The Panthers beat the Saints.
Right.
Carolina beat the Saints. My bad.
No. Yeah, you said Panthers. Yep, Panthers beat the Saints.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that is just like any given Sunday, like it doesn't matter in regards to like you got to show up, like in like echoing what you're saying, like what we saw from last week. This is a must-win game. You're playing against possibly Mac Jones because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be suited up for this game. So you're getting a backup. You're playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been so-so. I mean, like, but they have been competitive in a lot of games. I mean, like, I know last week they were part of the viral moment with Saquon Barkley, where there's a reverse hurdle. And, yeah, definitely check this out. I think, like, a high school football player tried it, and he turned into, like, a helicopter because not everybody is Saquon Barkley. Like, so kids don't do this at home. Like,
no.
So yeah, we're going up against a 2-7 Jacksonville Jaguars game, but don't let that 2-7 fool you. This team is sneaky. Like they do have the pieces in place in Jacksonville. It's just that they're not getting those winning plays. They're not making those game-changing plays. But one thing that the Vikings can't do is let them get that confidence back, especially at home. I know it's a noon game, but like you just don't want that. You don't want that crowd to get involved early.
No.
Especially with a backup, you want them to be like hitting the exits quickly. By the end of the third quarter, you want people, finding the exits, getting to the parking lot. So I'm looking for Sam Darnold to have a bounce back game because there was a couple of throws that I saw where he was forcing it, and especially with T.J. Hawkinson back, this will be his second full game. We'll definitely be monitoring him, and with other injuries, the Vikings just signed a new kicker because Will Reichert had the quad strain, and then they also had an injury to their long snapper, who's a captain, Andrew DiPaolo. So like I'm looking at this as like, all right, special teams, how big of an impact will it be on Sunday? Are we going to go for 2 in some cases? Or are we going to go for it on 4th down? In regards to like not really knowing, the range of the new kicker that was just picked up. So I'm thinking that with Kevin O'Connell, they probably do have a plan in place. They did work out this kicker, in the off season. And obviously, he was not going to beat out a draft pick to win the job. But knowing that we do have an opportunity here to go 7-2, feel good about ourselves, and then not to get too ahead of ourselves. Then we have another game against another AFC South team in the Tennessee Titans. So we have an opportunity here in the next 3 games to really get healthy, and you get the Bears. So it's a 3-game road stretch here before the Vikings do come back to U.S. Bank Stadium, and that will be against the Arizona Cardinals. So it won't be until next month that the Minnesota Vikings are back in the U.S. Bank Stadium. So the rest of November, you got to prove to me, can you win on the road? Can you win in a hostile environment where, you're going to have to overcome crowd noise. You're going to have to overcome the outdoors because, you have Jacksonville. It's going to be a little bit warmer. It might be some other elements. Tennessee, we don't know the weather that's going to be there. It could be raining that game. Same thing in Chicago. So that we're going to learn a lot about this team. Obviously, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, very impressed with their last performance against the Colts. Definitely want to see what Aaron Jones can do because we got to take a little bit more pressure off of Sam Darnold because I feel like the rushing game has kind of gone away during the last 4 games. I feel like since we got our first loss against Detroit, and then we followed that up with a loss to Los Angeles, I think the rushing game has just been non-existent. I don't know what your takes are on in regards to Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones needs to have a huge couple of games here for the Vikings to stay in contention in the NFC North.
Oh, 100%. Aaron Jones, the only games you pick up in Europe, I think the first, when they lost to Detroit and when they lost out west, the running game it didn't make an impact. Watching last week game, okay, you could start seeing them make a little bit of impact, but that needs to be improving more. It needs to continue to improve. Take pressure off Darnold so he doesn't have to throw all the time. Take pressure off Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. Take pressure off them too, because if you have a good running game, that's going to take the other team's defense, and now they're going to have to guess, is this 50-50? What's going on? Who's going to throw it in a run? We gotta stop the run, so you can't double team this guy. You gotta be worried about that. So once that starts up again, then that will definitely help in the long term. But it needs to pick up.
Exactly right. I mean, yeah, you got Aaron Jones. You had a huge veteran signing in the offseason. You're expecting him to at least get you at least 95 to 100, at least close to that century mark. Of production, and he did have 64 yards, and yes, Vikings won. So I'm not splitting hairs here, but I just want to see more involvement with him because when the Vikings got off to their hot start when they were 5-0, they were able to get Aaron Jones going, and then that opened up the rest of the offense. And the defense needs to get healthy. I think. I don't know if Blake Cashman is going to be available. Turf toe is kind of difficult to kind of realize like what type of player he's going to be coming off that injury. But definitely love what we're seeing with Jonathan Grenard, like one of the top pressure defensive linemen out there. He's having an All-Pro season, and want to see that growth. And I guess like it's exciting to see a player make a name for themselves, because I know that what Brian Flores saw in him in the offseason was like, hey, this guy would be a perfect fit for this defense. And then again, we got to see a little bit of Dallas Turner. Like, I know Dallas Turner's our first-round rookie out of Alabama. We'll talk about Alabama a little bit later today. But, like, it's good to see that Dallas Turner is getting opportunities now. And I think Brian Flores is kind of like, doesn't want to, like, reveal too much right now in regards to everything, every trick up his sleeve in regards to what he wants to do with the versatility and athletic ability of Dallas Turner. But he did have him play in coverage a little bit. He did have him kind of be a QB spy and kind of do a delayed blitz. So that was kind of cool to see him play in a different facet. And he's getting some more time. I know he was kind of like riding the pine for a little bit, but like that's going to be the case when you're going to be surrounded by veterans that know their role in the defense. But I'm really excited to see what Dallas Turner can do the next couple of weeks, because you get Mac Jones this week, you get Mason Rudolph, and you get Caleb Williams. So you get an opportunity here to tee off on a couple of quarterbacks where I feel like Brian Flores is going to show us a little bit more of what we're going to expect to see with this defense moving forward. But reeling it back in, overall play, I feel the Vikings should win this game. But looking at the rest of the NFC North, Detroit, what's your thoughts on Detroit?
I mean, you're seeing the fruits of their labor. I mean, they've been terrible for years and years and years, and they finally get those picks. They got QB, and don't get me wrong, Goff. Stafford was a great quarterback.
Right.
They just never have the pieces for him. And I'm glad he won the Super Bowl. Detroit, they're itching. They're itching for a Super Bowl. I think there was a fan season ticket holder for I don't know how many years. First time in his life he was able to go to a playoff game. They showed him on TV. It was awesome to see. So yeah, I mean, they're the team to beat in the NFC North.
Absolutely.
I think they actually could be the team to beat in the NFC. Period.
It's looking that way because what they're able to do in the trenches, they're able to run the ball. They're a team that can play anywhere. I think that is kind of like the misconception. It's like, oh, Detroit's a dome team. No, Detroit went into Green Bay when it was raining, when it was nasty, when it was cold, and they bloodied the Green Bay Packers all game. And yeah, it got physical, and that is the personality that Dan Campbell let you know from day one. They're gonna bite your kneecaps off, and that's what we're seeing here. Is it took a few seasons to install that culture, and I think that culture is installed now, and it's gonna be it's gonna be fun to watch Detroit. Like they're just gonna raise everybody's level, because if you're gonna go into Detroit, you're gonna have to be ready to really step up to their level of play. And looking at the rest of the NFC, I mean, the NFC North, we got the Bears 4-4. I mean, they're kind of a surprise 4-4. They play the Patriots this week. What are we gonna see here? I mean, it's a battle between the number 1 pick overall and Drake May, the number 3 pick overall. So Drake May just getting his first couple starts underneath his belt. But what are your thoughts on in regards to the Bears and Patriots in this game, in regards to what you expect to see?
So if you look at the standings, you see bottom of the barrel teams. This isn't going to be good. This isn't going to be a good one. No. Look at the past couple weeks. The Bears are actually playing decent football. Look at the Patriots. Look at last week with the Patriots. Drake May last second bringing them to overtime. So this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Bears are 4-3. No, I think maybe they're 4-4. 4-4. I think they're 3-5. I don't think they win that first game in Tennessee. but they're still like they're exceeding expectations than last year. I think this time last year they only had 2 wins with Fields, and don't get me wrong, Fields is you can see he's playing good in a different
Different
system,
system, right?
but this is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a fun game to watch. Will it be a great game to watch? No. Will it be a good game? Possibly. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that sentiment. It's going to be a fun game to watch. And no, Packers are idle this week. So, yeah, that just gives you a quick whip around on the NFC North. But the rest of the NFC, I mean, we got the Falcons looking really tough at 6-3 with Kirk Cousins. We got the 49ers getting back Christian McCaffrey. And you're looking at the Commanders at 7-2. We did mention them earlier with Jaden Daniels, possibly early Rookie of the Year candidate with the Hail Maryland against the Chicago Bears, and the rest of the landscape. I mean, the Eagles are looking like they got things put back together after kind of like a middle of the season kind of meltdown, but they're 6-2. The Cowboys look like they're faltering. So yeah, the NFC is open, and the Rams. They had a miracle comeback against the Seahawks. They were able to pull it out with a Matthew Stafford bomb to Demarcus Robinson. So the Rams are kind of like, they were on life support the last time we saw them up close when they played the Vikings. So, like, ever since that game, I feel like they've kind of turned it on. And they were looking to unload Cooper Kupp. Now they're looking to reload with the rest of their offense. And now if they can keep Puka Nacua in for a full game, they might be.
I was going to bring that up.
Yup. Because hey, like I got Puka in a fantasy league. I need you to stay in games, and they go off against Miami this week on Monday Night Football. So that'll be another fun game. I don't think it would be a great game, but it'll be a fun game. But yeah, like that's just a quick whip around of the NFL. I mean, a lot of storylines. I mean, Chiefs are still undefeated. But yeah, like looking at the current landscape, it's anybody's conference in regards to the NFC. The AFC, you might have the top two teams right now. I would say is Baltimore and Kansas City.
Yeah, 100%. Although this is going to be my not sit. What do we call it? The sit. No. By yourself segment.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to do that really quickly now, or you want to wait till we get to there naturally.
We can do it real quick. Yep. Cool.
Okay, by yourself, Cincinnati, are they actually a 4-6 team, or are they actually just that good? They just had a terrible. Do they make playoffs? Are you buying them making playoffs this year?
I think they make playoffs. I feel like the AFC is a lot weaker. I think they do make the playoffs. Just what I've seen, like with the couple games that they've played against Baltimore, and Kansas City, they were like a play away too. So that gives me enough confidence that Joe Burrow is going to help them figure this out. Their defense just got to play a lot better. They got to protect their leads because you're up 14 on the road. What more can you really ask for your offense to give you a 14-point lead? But I'm buying on them to sneak in as a wild card. I think they're just going to be too good of an offense to be held back.
Oh, I'm buying too. I mean, in their division, they're behind by the Steelers and by the Ravens. We know they can hang with both teams. I think they are the best 4-6, best team under 500 to play right now. So I think the AFC North is going to get 3 teams. I think, and they can easily get that in there. I mean, yeah, there's not really another good AFC team like you said. That's like the Chargers are 5-3. There's Denver that's 5-4. They don't seem like teams that are like. I want to see this team in the postseason. It's not. It's just yeah.
Right. I mean, right now, if we just want to take a look at a way too early look at the playoff picture, in the AFC, yes. We got KC at 8-0. Then you got the Bills 7-2, Pittsburgh 6-2. Surprising for a lot of people to see Pittsburgh that high. Houston 6-3. I think Houston's going to lose because they're going to be on the road against Detroit. So you can almost drop Houston down. Baltimore 7-3. They just played, and then the Chargers 5-3, Denver 5-4. So that's where I'm thinking right there. I feel like the Chargers, I think Cincinnati can outplay them down the stretch. Denver, I believe that Cincinnati can outplay them to get into that playoff. And then we did see the Colts. The Colts are kind of like, they got Joe Flacco, they got old man Joe, but he's kind of making some mistakes as well. So I'm not 100% sold on Indianapolis staying in that playoff contention. Another team that they do need to look out for is the New York Jets. The New York Jets are kind of like, they're in the weeds. They're kind of like just laying in the weeds right now at 3-6.
The only this might suck to hear, but if Tua doesn't get hurt, the Jets do not sit in that spot. 100% do not. They are lucky they have been taking advantage of teams in the division. I mean, hell, they lost to the Patriots on their last drive. That alone, you look at a team that's rebuilding, and you can't beat the team that's rebuilding.
Right. Like, this is
my goodness.
Right, absolutely. You lose to Jacoby Brissett. Yeah. And then, the NFC, we're seeing quick playoff look too, real quick with them. Detroit 7-1. We're saying that they're the number one team coming out of the NFC right now. And then Washington 72, Atlanta 6-3, strong start for Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, and then Arizona 5-4, and then you got Minnesota 6-2, and then Philadelphia in a wild card, and then Philadelphia right behind at 6-2, and then you got Green Bay at 6-3. And then there's a huge drop off in the NFC. Then it's 4-4 with Chicago. And like we mentioned, Chicago is very fortunate to have a 4-4 record. They had two games that went the opposite way. They could be even they could be a 2-6 team in regards to everything that could have played out. But yeah, and look at San Francisco. They're 4-4. They're not going to stay down. So I expect San Francisco to possibly also get back into the swing of things. Your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey's return this week?
I mean, hey, that's good. I'm glad to see him back. He's one of the star players in the league. They need him. They definitely need him. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's the one big thing, is he needs to stay healthy. If he can't do that, then it's going to be a tough, especially for the 49ers, where you lost like all your receivers. You're on backups. You're on all this. So if he could stay healthy, he could definitely be a big threat. But he's going to get really double teamed. And I don't know. If I'm the 49ers, do I want to send him out there and throw him 75% of the plays? Or do I want to ease him into the season and not risk him getting hurt again?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, is like they have two running backs. They got Isaac Guerrero and they had Jordan Mason. They were able to at least keep you competitive. They were able to keep you competitive. What more do you ask for a backup to keep you at 500? They were at 500, and yeah, like with CMC coming back, like you just want to make sure that he's fully healthy, because you don't want him to be lingering at 75, 80% the whole time that he's playing. So yeah, like I would definitely like put him on a pitch count or a snap count, and you want the rest of the offense to naturally let him kind of come back into the fold, because he is such a versatile weapon for them that I feel like Kyle Shanahan would be doing himself a misservice trying to rush him back right now. Because, like, the Achilles, come on, it's such it is such a dangerous injury to have, because you don't know what that could cause long term. It was a career-threatening injury. So, like, yeah, definitely want to see him get back to his normal game-playing ability. But yeah, like looking at the rest of the NFC, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Dallas, and then now you get into the weeds of Carolina, New Orleans, and the Giants, all thinking about next year. So sorry the fans in Germany. I'm sorry, you're gonna see the battle for whoever's gonna get a higher draft pick.
Yes,
not America's best on display.
No.
Okay, so let's switch gears here. We got college football real quick. LSU. Alabama, game of the week. There's going to be a live tiger on the sidelines.
I can't. I'm not going to swear, but oh my goodness. That is showing that, like, you are cocky. Like you have that energy coming out. Like you want this game. You want this to be known that you mean business. That you have to put out all the stops for this. That's a rivalry game. If you don't see it.
Exactly. The definition of a rivalry game. Like these two fan bases not like each other. It's old-fashioned hate in regards to like the schools. They're every single season it's like, hey, we're going for the national title, and both teams are at each other's throats. And I'm sure there's families, there's houses that are divided. They're both LSU and Alabama, but this is going to be cinema in regards to watching what Alabama and LSU, 11 versus 15, but it could have as well have been 1 versus 5. That's the atmosphere that I'm getting for this game. I'm going to be juiced up for that game. That's going to be a great game, and then that's just going to get us right into the rest of the college football schedule. It just gets so much better in the month of November. So yeah, just really excited about that. Shout out to the Timberwolves, 6-3. They're going to be going up against the Miami Heat. Also, a huge shout out to the Minnesota Gophers on a rare 4-game winning streak. They're out east, trying to continue that winning streak against Rutgers in the Scarlet Knights. And then Wild, wow, Kirill Kaprizov, what a stud! Like he has been arguably an MVP candidate, I would believe, in the NHL early on. Wild 10-2-2 with 22 points. They face off against the Chicago Blackhawks later this weekend. So we're getting all these sports, and Minnesota is doing really well to stay competitive in all the sports. So I'm really excited to see how the rest of this month will go. But yeah, early on, the NHL is definitely picking up. How are your Rangers doing so far?
I mean, you want them to do better. I mean, they just got blown out by Buffalo, but at the end of the day, it's more or less of we have a great goalie, we have goal scorers, we just need to play defense in front of them. And I don't know if you know this, but if you're in the playoffs by Thanksgiving, you had a 79% chance of making the playoffs at the end of the year. Right now, I'm scared because we're in the wild card spot. I'd rather see us in a division spot, but it is what it is. Our window is closing, which stinks. You hate to see it, but the window is still open. It's closing, but it's still open.
Gotcha. It's like half open right now. The Rangers, like 17 points right now, 8-3-1. So it's not like you're hitting the panic button. It's just like, hey guys, hey fellas, let's pick this up because once it gets to Thanksgiving, we want to be in a good spot. We don't want to be chasing points because like it's so tough. Because with 3 points every single night that you are losing out on, it's really tough to really make up that ground. Just because things do kind of mount up, injuries, and just your team's overall ability to catch those teams that do create that separation early on. Definitely want to keep plugged in there. And then college basketball is back. So UConn going for the three-peat. Hey, they play later tonight. They're 1-0 playing against New Hampshire. So definitely will be keeping tabs on the Huskies throughout the season. But yeah, it's good to see that all college sports are back too in regards to college basketball, both men and women's. I know that's a huge kind of like in regards to like huge fan bases for both sports.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's one of those good problems where it's like, what do you want to watch? Like, there's so much sports going on. It's one of those good problems to watch, to have.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's do some picks here. Right now, I'm taking a look at the picks. Let's do college football. Let's do the game Alabama LSU. Who's your pick?
And I'm not doing this under duress. I am not under duress. No one's telling me what to do, anything about this. I think Alabama is going to win this game. And this game is going to be so good. It is an important game for both teams because you win, you're guaranteed to move up in the standings, and you're not worried about chasing that last college football spot. I think Alabama has it. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama. I think Alabama wins this game too. Like it is, even though they have the Tiger on the sideline, I got to go with Alabama in this game. Alabama's favored by 2.5. Yeah, I'm going Alabama. All right, so we can shift gears. NFL. We got a few games to pick. We definitely want to pick the Sunday night game. I kind of previewed it, but Detroit versus Houston.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good game there. Give me, give me Detroit. I don't think Houston's defense can stand up to it. It's gonna be a shoot. It's gonna be a high scoring game, but I think the Lions defense is gonna step up a little bit more. I think Golf is gonna be the guy who's gonna lead them down. So I'm gonna take the 7-1 Lions to beat the 6-3 Texans.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and echo that. I gotta go with the Detroit Tigers. They've shown me that they're able to master all three phases of the game. I would not be surprised to see a punt return or a kickoff return or some type of crazy play on special teams in this game. But yeah, give me the Detroit Lions to go 8-1 against the Houston Texans that fall to 6-4 here. Okay, next game to pick here. This is going to be an interesting game. 49ers Buccaneers.
That's definitely going to be a good one. I think both teams 4-4. Buccaneers are 4-5. But it's going to be a fun one. CMC gets back, and I think the Buccaneers defense can have it, but it's Joe Burrow, I think, with the McCaffrey back, so I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Going 49ers. All right. Okay, so this is tough. I got to go with Buccaneers on this one. I know 49ers are going to get CMC back for the first time in a long time. I mean, he hasn't played since the Super Bowl. So I'm going with Baker Mayfield. I feel like Baker Mayfield finally breaks through. Probably expect K. Dotton to score a touchdown here because none of their wide receivers are making plays. And I feel like it's the tight end or the running backs here. They're going to be weapons. But yeah, I'm going Buccaneers to keep that short. Okay, Steelers and Commanders.
Steelers Commanders.
Yes.
That's the game I would have picked. Oh my gosh. Actually, I think that's going to be the best 1 o'clock game out there.
Yep.
It's a CBS game. You have 6-2 versus 7-2. It's in DC. You got Steelers with Russell Wilson, but you have Jaden Daniels. Give me the Commanders. Give me the Commanders. I want the Commanders. I want the Commanders at home. I think they're going to make offs. They might make the Super Bowl. I want to ride with this team. I think they have it. Give me the Commanders.
Okay. Yeah, Commanders, they're so tough to pick against. But hear me out. I'm going to go Steelers here just because I feel like Russell Wilson is going to figure this out in regards to this offense with George Pickens. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the running game. I feel like Jalen Warren. So give me the Steelers, but it's going to be an exciting game to watch. And then we could wrap with Vikings Jaguars.
Goal. Good Vikings.
Right.
Simple and easy.
Let's go. Right. Vikings. Yeah. We talked about the keys to the game. Vikings need to be able to just keep that defense humming in regards to turning the ball over, and I think they should be in good shape. Vikings win this. So yeah, that will wrap up here in regards to our pick segments. Any final words here for the week in regards to anything that the best and the worst of the week?
Throwing a flag out there for the refs. They missed so many penalty calls in the Thursday night game. Come on, Goodell. Figure it out. We need good officiating. I'm throwing another flag out there. I feel bad. These international games, we're giving them terrible games. You gave Jacksonville twice to England. We're giving Germany, the Giants, Panthers. Like, have we ever given a good game internationally at all? Like,
No, I can't think of it. I mean, maybe the Vikings Jets. That went down to like the wire. That was probably like one of the better international games. All the other ones are just like, yeah, the team is just getting dumped on. In the
Yeah.
by the time the fourth quarter starts, you might as well just go home, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best of the worst of the week. I mean, we didn't mention. I'd probably say the worst of the week is probably those 40 monkeys, like in South Carolina. Like, how does that happen? Someone needs to explain that to me. Like, how does that happen? That is just probably the worst gaffe that I could think of for the week. Just like monkey business going on there.
They're just monkeying around.
Monkeying around, just hey, don't feed them. You know these monkeys are not friendly, right? But that's been our time here at the 94 podcast. We do appreciate you guys listening to all the segments, and all the segments can be sponsored by your product. So yeah, you can reach us at 94 podcasts on YouTube, also at 94 podcasts at Gmail. You can also submit a proposal for any type of advertisement, or if you want us to push your product, we can also do that on our social medias. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share the 94 podcast. But until next time, we'll see you in the TOP.
TOP.
We're out.
What?